Hey everyone, Charlie here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Let me apologize before we get started. I have kind of a cold, so my voice is going to be kind of strange throughout this. Maybe a little coughing, maybe not, who knows, but please bear with me. So today what I want to talk to you about is something, maybe like an updated opinion on something I had regarding English teaching or teaching in Japan or maybe just teaching in general. One of the very first videos I made after I came to Japan, I think it was like one of the first one cuppas, or maybe it was just like one of the walk-in talks that predated one cuppa, was about how you're never not an English teacher, right? Or you're never not a teacher, whether you're here or elsewhere, because wherever you go, you represent your school. You have to, put on your best. Your best performance, right? Always be the best version of yourself, particularly when you're out in public, because you never know when your kids are going to see you or their parents are going to see you, and ultimately your role model. And in a lot of cases here, you are sort of the make or break for your school, particularly if you work for a small company. So if you make a bad impression with the parents, or the kids come to think less of you or something like that, right? It can really impact not just your job, but the manager at your school, the small business owners, your coworkers, everybody, right? So it's really something to consider and keep in mind. And it's something that I really, even now that I've been doing this for 2.5 years, I guess, has it been that long? Anyway, it's been a while. I still feel that way, and I don't really mind. I have pretty normal habits, I guess. That I don't really do anything that society says is like, oh, that's strange. Even here, when I'm stick out like a sore thumb kind of thing. Besides walking around making one cuppas, people tend to stop and wonder what the hell's up with that. But all that to say that maybe it's easier for me to sort of always have that teacher persona on when I'm in public, because I'm ordinarily pretty reserved in public anyway, unless there's beer involved, as some of my friends can tell you. That being said, particularly recently, as I've been trying to sort of be the very best teacher I can be at my school. But as I've talked to you about on this channel too, I'm also sort of looking ahead, right? I'm looking at what I'm going to be doing teaching-wise. Not teaching-wise. I'm looking ahead towards what I'm going to be doing as far as furthering my education, as far as what I'm going to be doing for publishing my writing, and things like that. And so what I found is that for the sake of my own sanity, I have to not be a teacher sometimes. And you might think upon hearing that, well, yeah, of course, and when you're at home and you're by yourself, why would you need to put on that sort of teacher persona? And the fact of the matter is that I think a lot of people in this situation, they kind of get sucked into this sort of bubble, right? You've heard about the gaijin bubble before, and that's a definite thing. But there's also like this bubble where you will make friends with other foreigners, and the only thing you end up talking about is like, complaining about some of the things you don't like about teaching, or, talking about your kid did X, Y, and Z. And effectively what you end up sounding like is like one of those crazy parents who just won't shut the hell up about their kids. And don't get me wrong, their kids are great, and my kids are great. And I will, if you ask me, I will certainly tell you how proud I am of my kids and some of the awesome things they do and have done and so forth. But what I have found is that if I can't make that disconnect between my sort of professional life, the professional life that puts bread on my table, to use that old cliche, that there is an inordinate amount of stress that comes from sort of living my life sort of always immersed in what's happening with my students. And it just got to a point where it wasn't healthy. And when I first discovered this, it was after I came back from the United States for the Christmas break this year. And the thing was, when I came back, I was looking forward to getting back into it. There were some things happening at work which I can't really talk about that were stressful, but that's any job. That's any job. But my friends were talking to me about teaching and asking me about how X, Y, and Z class is going, and like what am I going to be doing. And I realized, like, as I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, I think about this anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a week as it is, right? And isn't that enough? But then there's also this sort of guilt that creeps into it. And it's like, well, why am I not willing to put more time into it? Is it because I don't care? And ultimately what I decided after really thinking about it for a long time and being really stressed out because I was thinking about it, kind of thing, because I had to think about it, I just sort of realized that no, that's acceptable. You can love something and want to really do your best at it, but also sort of set healthy barriers, whether it's running, which is something I'm dealing with now. That's one of the reasons why I'm that was a really well-timed cough, but it was not purposeful, I promise. But that's one of the reasons why I've been sick for 3 weeks, is because I sort of overdid it and didn't take time off when I needed to. And it's all about this idea of balance and sort of knowing when to throttle back a little bit for your health, for your mental well-being, and ultimately to be better at whatever you're doing, right? The owner of my school recently told me when he realized that I was sick and was really worried whether or not I should be teaching for this past week. He said, you've got to keep in mind that rest is training, right? And that's rest from teaching, that's rest from writing, that's rest from running. There has to be some kind of rejuvenation and reflection period, because otherwise, how can you ever know the difference between good and bad, healthy and unhealthy, and too much and too little, and just enough, and all that, right? And all the other shit that Goldilocks talks about all the time. So anyway, guys, it's just something for those of you who are coming over here to keep in mind, because it happens, particularly if you really love teaching, which, a lot of my friends, fellow YouTubers who also teach, really love their jobs. But I would caution you to both follow my previous advice, which is to realize that you are always a teacher when you are out and about, right? In image, you're always teacher, and you should always, act in a way that protects your school, protects your job, and ultimately protects your kids, right? And lives up to their expectations of you. And if that sounds unfair, then I hate to tell you, maybe you shouldn't be a teacher. That's the life of a teacher. But then on the other hand, know when to sort of take time off in your personal space too, so that you're not effectively working as a teacher 24 hours a day. So maybe that's self-explanatory advice, maybe that's sort of like a no-brainer kind of thing, but for me it wasn't, so that means somebody else out there is going to have the same experience, probably. But yeah, guys, that's all I have to say about that. Have you had this experience in teaching? Have you had this experience in teaching English in Japan in particular? Or have you had a similar experience in your everyday job, in your everyday professional life? Please let me know down in the comment section down below. Love to hear from you guys as always. Please like and share this video if you did in fact like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.